From the state capitol, lawmakers are inching closer to banning state involvement in gay pride. News 4's Mecca Thompson brings us the story.
I declare that House Bill 1219 has passed.
Legislation banning state support for pride and resources for the LGBTQ+ community in the home stretch of reaching the governor's desk.
That is 5 ayes and 2 nays.
The bill given the green light by these Republican Senate members in a Tuesday committee meeting.
It's a redirection of our state agencies to redirect directly into services, not getting caught up in the political realm of the pride parades and the LGBTQ events that are out there.
In the language, state agencies cannot endorse or promote anything that recognizes lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer.
And what I'm understanding is that they would not be allowed to do outreach at those types of events.
They would not be allowed to do outreach at those kinds of events.
It also strikes down state recognition of Pride Month and the flying of the rainbow flag on state property. Public schools and universities would also have to fall in line. Democrats grilling Senator Bullard about the bill.
Mr. Chair, why are you making this all about sex?
Thank you for the question. The LGBTQ movement is about a preference of sexual desire.
You think that families and friends of gay people in Oklahoma should be ashamed of those relationships?
Thank you for that question. That is not germane to this bill.
Senator Bullard says the legislation does not stop people from celebrating Pride, nor does it ban cities from hosting Pride parades like Pride on 39th held in the OKC Metro. They sent us a statement saying they are disappointed about the bill, saying, quote, "We the people includes everyone, and we will not be silenced."
There are a lot who are going to say, well, you're attacking LGBTQ. We're not. The private sector can do what they choose. It's the use of public dollars and how do we use those public dollars.
Certainly a major topic here in Oklahoma right now. And Mecca Thompson joins us now live to break it all down for us in tonight's breakdown. Hi, Mecca.
Hi, Heather. How are you?
Good. Thanks for being here.
Of course.
So regarding pride and LGBTQ+ advocacy, what guardrails are in place that would for state agencies, really?
So there would be a lot of guardrails in place. Ultimately, they can't do any kind of promotion. So this would look like a social media post. This would look like a flyer. This would be flying the rainbow flag on state grounds. No state agencies would be able to support anything that has to do with LGBTQ+ advocacy or pride.
So would the legislation then restrict anyone from celebrating Gay Pride Month, let's say, or the cities hosting parades?
So it does not. So the cities would still be able to host their own private pride parades, and people can still, they're free to go, they can attend, so they have no guardrails in place for that. So for example, Pride on 39th, they would still be able to do that in the Oklahoma City Metro. People would still be able to attend, but if a state agency wanted to table or sponsor that event and provide any kind of resources, they would not be able to do that.
How about schools? Do they have to abide by these rules?
Yes, schools have to abide by these rules too. So not private schools because they're in the private sector, but any public schools and also colleges and universities, because public schools, they are overseen by the OSDE, and then colleges would be the board state regents.
So if signed into law by the governor, how soon would this law go into effect?
So I'm sure you know, many people know Pride Month is actually all of June, but this would go into effect July 1st of this year, so relatively quick.
Right, and this does affect a lot of people. We saw in your story a lot of people there participating in the parades and so forth. Did you hear from any of them and their thoughts on this?
So I didn't hear directly from any of them, but I did hear back from OKC Pride. I heard from the executive director, and they just mentioned being very upset about this, but they said we will not be silenced. They're still ongoing planning for this year's Pride celebration, so they're not letting it stop them.
All right, Mecca Thompson, thanks so much for being here.
Heather.
We appreciate it.